Over the next few weeks, This Is America visits Japan, a country rich in tradition and undergoing a historic period of transition. On this program, we focus on women in Japan. Promoting a more active role for women in Japan's economy is a key element in Prime Minister Shinzo Abe's long-term growth strategy. Before heading off to Japan, we sat in on a U.S.-Japan Council symposium which explored the changing reality and potential role of women in the workforce. One of the presenters offered her own personal story, highlighting the shifting perspective of women in Japan.
Now, yes, I'm going to tell you a very personal story. I came to the United States, I came to New York about 15 years ago. At that time, I had to make the adjustment. I was brought up by a very conservative mother, and her only wish for me was for me to get married by the age of 25. Now, when that didn't happen, we went through a very long period of Cold War. So that's the kind of family I brought up with. And also, I was working in a Japanese company in Japan for about 10 years before I came here. So I was pretty much used to how things were in Japan. And so when I came here, it was an adjustment for me. And my husband, who used to work for CNN at that time, he took me to his office and introduced me to his boss. I was shocked. One, his boss was a woman, and two, she was so pregnant. I was like, and she said, "Oh, I'm due in a couple weeks." You don't see that in Japan. In a newsroom, no, you don't see that. My mind just exploded. And at that point, I saw right in front of me the potential of my future career sitting right in front of me. And since then, she became my role model. And yes, the biggest challenging moment that I had during my career was my pregnancy. With that mindset, of course, I was scared to tell everybody that I was pregnant. I thought I was going to lose my career. Because when I tell my Japanese friends that I was pregnant, they would say, "Ah, congratulations, so when are you leaving your company?" Everybody says that. So having a boss who's an expatriate from Japan, I had to face him. Very nervous, but I had to, so I went to his office and I told him I was pregnant. Of course he goes, "Oh, congratulations, so when are you leaving?" So I had to explain to him in the very nicest way possible. If you don't mind, what I would like to do is stay until my last period of my pregnancy, and in that period, I'd like to do the things that I'm doing right now, go on air and tell the news. In 3 months, I'll be back. And I'd like to start, after 3 months, from where I left. That is what I would like to do, if it's okay with you. And by the way, it's the law. I mean, my boss was stunned. But the good thing was that I had a very good relationship with my boss. So he listened. He said, "Give me a moment." He took a moment. He probably did his studies in law in this time. And he came back to me in a very short time. And he said, "We'll work it out." And that was the most relieving voice I heard. And we worked it out. And you know what? It's not that difficult. At the end of the day, everybody won. It was great for the company because it was so much easier and cheaper for the company to keep me because I was experienced. And I got my way. The seamless career throughout my pregnancy, and that's what I wanted. I'm not saying it's good, but that's what I wanted, and I was able to do that. And that win-win relationship was so important for me because I did not want to be a burden for the company. That's not how I wanted to work. And I was not. And also, the win-win relationship is so important because that's the only way it can be sustainable. If you're a burden of the company, it's not going to last long. It has to be a sustainable win-win relationship. And of course, all these things can happen in Japan too. And I think technically, it's not that difficult. There's a lot of highly educated women with a lot of potential in Japan who actually want that. But the problem is all in the mindset that I had when I came to America. That's stopping them. And how to change that? A role model. Everybody has to see for themselves that gender equality is possible and it's not that difficult.
This is America and the World is brought to you by the National Education Association, the U.S.-China Education Trust, and the F.Y. Chang Foundation, guided by Ambassador Julia Chang Block, President. The League of Arab States, representing 350 million people in 22 member countries. ANA, Japan's largest airline with an extensive network throughout Asia. Japan, history, hospitality, and advanced technology, sharing tomorrow. The Republic of Kazakhstan, a rich history and a future of development and growth. The Rotendaro Family Trust. The Embassy Series, uniting people through musical diplomacy, presenting international artists in diplomatic settings. And Ventana Productions, television facilities, editing, and distribution services. We paid a visit outside of Tokyo to a company run by a female president, Mami Ito. Nihon Dento Kougyo is an electro and ion customized plating business. Both her father, who founded Nihon Dento, and her mother died when Mami Ito was in her early 20s. She was in the music business as a radio DJ, but necessity and her heart changed everything.
I wasn't going to come back to Japan. I was planning to stay in the States and work there. However, I had a call from Japan saying that we're going to go bankrupt. And the reason why I had to come back is because I was living in a house which my dad bought for us. However, it was under the company's name. So the banks were trying to, they wanted us to sell the house. So I had to come to move out of the house. That's when I really realized how the company was doing, how bad it was doing. I wasn't the board member or anything, so I didn't get any information about how the company was doing. I have a stepmother, and she was one of the board members. So when I came back, she told me how the situation was. And we had a talk with the lawyer, the accountant, and we found out how the president at that time was doing some messy things. And I never thought about taking over the company, but when I started coming to this company and looking at the employees, I saw the family behind them. And so I thought, if they lose a place to work, what would the family do? Because I grew up because my dad owned the company and because there were employees working for him. I was able to go to school, I was able to eat. So what about the children of the employees now? They're going to be going over the same thing as I did. But what if they lose the company? Would they be able to have the normal life as they used to? So I thought maybe I should keep on going. I mean, that's not the reason why I decided to run the company. I didn't know if I was the proper person. I was looking for somebody else, but nobody wanted to do. Well, I talked to my employees that instead of employees, I call them a team. We say this is Team Nihon Dento. And as a team member, I have to share everything, the bad and the good information. So all the financial statements, we shared. I kept communicating with my people. And also, instead of going into watch business deeply, why don't we go into diverse our customers? So we decided going into small volume production instead of mass production, and we decided to, how do I say, we decided to contacting with different customers, different clients from different field, different industry, and specialize. We decided to be strong on a specialized application, customized application, more than the routine plating.
Mm-hmm. So now here we are. How many years later?
14 years.
14 years later. And it's a very successful company, isn't it?
I wouldn't say very, but it is. It is getting better than 14 years ago.
Ah, I would say a successful company.
I would aim for a higher place.
But isn't that what a good president would say?
Yes,
right?
Yes.
Aim for something higher. But you are satisfied and the company is successful, huh?
I'm not satisfied yet.
No?
No.
Is it highly unusual to have a woman in Japan as the president of a successful company?
Especially in the manufacturing business. Very unusual yet, still, yes.
What's your thought about women in Japan in the workforce?
We should have more. Not yet enough. And the environmental issues, not enough, for example, daycare service for a woman with children. Mm-hmm. And I guess it's still a male-dominant society.
Yeah.
So the male should understand about women more.
We talked about Japan's glass ceiling with Misako Ito.
The other foreign countries, and the percentage of female workers are much higher than that of Japan, of course. So, in order to compensate that what we are going to need in population and the workforce, and we definitely need more competent women.
We were at a seminar in Washington promoted by the U.S.-Japan Council, and one of the presenters said that the definition of the glass ceiling was a thick layer of men.
Thick layer of old men, if I can say.
Ah.
Yes.
So that has held the women back, huh?
Yes, I think so.
Well, of course, we are helped by old men as
Yes.
well. We female workers are very much helped, and they tend to have a much, wider understanding that they do need a younger women workforce. But at the same time, it is them who can make a decision or not make a decision. It's entirely up to them. So I really want to encourage them to make a quick decision.
A centerpiece of Prime Minister Shinzo Abe's vision for Japan's economic growth is the role of women in the workforce. Will women be appreciated in the workforce?
Certainly, I must admit that compared with other countries, Japan has not been able to fully capitalize the potential and ability of women. In a different way, though, this situation can tell me that there are resources untapped in Japan. Therefore, from next year, for example, for recruiting new hires to become the civil servants in the government, we would like to have a target of making the new hires 30% women. Also, we are calling for at least having one woman on the board to the listed companies.
Will they be accepted?
I think many corporations are studying and reviewing this request very positively. I think by doing so, I believe that enterprise value of those companies which do that will increase, as well as the credibility and the profitability of those companies. Well, yesterday, I appointed the first person, woman, to lead the personnel affairs agency. One of the prefectural police headquarters head also has become a woman, and they are just performing their tasks brilliantly. So I think with this trend, men in Japan will realize that they have to fully utilize and capitalize on the potential and ability of women. Otherwise, they will not see the improvement of their companies or organizations.
On a later program, American Chamber of Commerce in Japan President Jay Panizeki talks business. On this program, she weighs in about Prime Minister Abe's Womenomics. She herself is a powerful example in Japan of a woman in a prestigious position.
Actually, the number of women participating in the workforce is about 66%, which is not so low of a percentage. But those in management and more senior positions is actually based on press reports that we've examined below 10%. So there's a disconnect between the roles that women are playing in the workplace.
I get you.
And whether or not those are roles that will stimulate economic growth and stimulate business, being more perhaps service-oriented rather than management-oriented. So we're very hopeful that by 2020 we will see more Japanese women in more senior positions of management and on boards of directors of Japanese companies.
In Kyoto, we paid a visit to the now famous Mito-chan taxi service, headed up by a female president. With its fleet of 15 cars, all of the Mito-chan drivers are women. There's nothing like it in Japan today, and it too signals a country in transition. Mito-chan taxi service. Tell me about it.
Yes. So Mito-chan taxi. So Mito is very unique name, you know. So Mito, M-I-T-O. So
does that mean something?
Yes, I explain later. Yeah, Mito-chan's name is come from the female elephant in the Kyoto City Zoo, and I request the city mayor, so Kyoto mayor, to use the name. So use female elephant name for our company. Yes.
Female elephant,
yes.
Huh?
The female elephant name is Mito in the zoo, city zoo. So yes.
So you're famous already, huh? Huh? Now, is this so? The symbol is a female elephant.
Yes.
So if we look at the roof of one of the taxis, we'll know it's female elephant.
Yes.
Female driver.
Yes.
So how many cars and how many drivers?
Now, so we have 15 cars and 15 drivers.
15 cars and 15 drivers.
Yes.
And when people are on the street, do they just wave the taxi or do they call for the
both.
taxi? Both?
Both, yeah, you can call us and wave in the city.
And when someone gets in the car and they see a female driver, how do they react?
I hear, so they are really happy to meet us. And very surprising.
What makes the female driver different from the male driver?
I think the female has a unique experience, is a lot of experience in their personal life. So such as the female experience to being pregnant or having children, or so taking care of elderly parents, something like that. And that experiences is a reflect on their services to our customers.
How does it reflect on reflect on the service?
Yeah, sometimes the customers, so often the women, so female, and including the pregnant or so with children as well as elder people. And so during driving, so they are talking and sharing with feeling.
With feeling.
Yeah.
After learning about the company, I hopped in one of their cars, and with the help of our translator, I talked with one of Mito-chan's female drivers.
I have a husband and daughters aged 10, two daughters aged 10 and 8.
Whoa. What do they think of mom as a taxi driver?
The first response was, wow, they were taken by surprise, both my husband and my daughters. But now they really appreciate it and they say that I'm very cool.
Very cool.
Yes.
And how about her friends when she first became a driver?
Likewise, I didn't tell my friends because I was embarrassed at first that I became a taxi driver. But since I appeared on TV, my friends found me out saying that there was a woman that looked very much like you. So they know now that I am the taxi driver.
But she's a celebrity, huh? And how about her husband? We haven't talked about her husband. What does her husband think when it first started, and what he thinks now?
He was at first surprised that I decided suddenly to become a taxi driver, and he was a little bit worried. What happened to you? And however, after a while, he thought that, he knew that Mito-chan Taxi is an all-female driver taxi company, and also since I can work part-time, he really appreciates me working as a taxi driver at this taxi company, and now I'm more knowledgeable on the routes and whereabouts than he is. So I'm telling him where to go and how to get to a destination.
Do you think women are better drivers than men?
I think so, because the male drivers tend to drive really roughly, and also since they know the roads and the routes very well, they tend to speed up, scaring such people as the elderly people who say that with the male drivers are sometimes scary.
So to have a company with a woman who is the CEO and all of the drivers, women, what does that say about Japan?
I think that Japan is safe country and so very organized country.
Organized and safe?
Yes, because the female drivers can drive, so it can walk, so equal as male drivers. So although the taxi business, they're often seen as male-dominant industry, right?
Okay. Yep.
But in Japan, so female drivers can walk.
Do you see a changing role for women in Japan today?
I think so, but only so Japan is safe and peaceful country. So, but also the society is so becoming open and welcoming and progressing for women.
In our exclusive interview, Prime Minister Shinzo Abe talks about some of the necessary changes on the drawing board, some changes already taking place, and his goal for women in Japan's future.
Of course, we would like to change this trend of low fertility by providing an environment where women will feel very comfortable to give birth to children and raise them.
How do you encourage that?
First of all, we have to create an environment which will provide comfortable working conditions for women. For example, we noticed the problem of the short supply of daycare centers. So kids, if they want to go to the daycare center for a while, they have to be on the waiting list, so-called. So we have a planning for having a daycare centers which could accommodate 400,000 kids, so that we will eliminate this phenomenon of kids on the waiting list. Including the policies that I just spoke of, we would like to have the policy of supporting parents who are nurturing their children. But these policies would not immediately change the direction of the population declining. So first we have to improve the individual's productivity by the introduction of innovation, and at the same time talking about broader policy agenda.
On our upcoming This is America Visits Japan programs, we'll take a look at economy and trade, innovation, culture, and tourism. For information about This Is America and the World and online video for all of our programs, visit our website, thisisamerica.net. And now you can follow us on Facebook and Twitter. This Is America and the World is brought to you by the National Education Association, the U.S.-China Education Trust, and the F.Y. Chang Foundation, guided by Ambassador Julia Chang Block, President. The League of Arab States, representing 350 million people in 22 member countries. ANA, Japan's largest airline with an extensive network throughout Asia. Japan, history, hospitality, and advanced technology. Sharing tomorrow. The Republic of Kazakhstan, a rich history and a future of development and growth. The Rotendaro Family Trust. The Embassy Series, uniting people through musical diplomacy, presenting international artists in diplomatic settings. And Ventana Productions, television facilities, editing, and distribution services.